Greetings everyone, this is Major. Today is July 12th, and today I'd like to talk to you about the pending crash, or that's what a lot of the YouTube community would like to have you believe. A lot of people are out there, speaking about the crash that's going to happen, and that is the reason why some feel that you should buy gold and silver, and some feel that's the reason why you should buy Bitcoin. And they're using this idea of the pending crash of the stock market, and I have a problem with that. The reason why I have a problem with that is because everything in their analysis is true, but the conclusion. The conclusion is that, their analysis is that this is all humongous amounts of debt, humongous amounts of problems in their system. All of their numbers are fake. Everything they're saying is correct, except the fact that they think that means that this system is going to crash because of all of these things. I think that that fiat stock market, bond market system is going to continue because of the manipulation, because they have full control over the system. When Janet Yellen, and for those who don't know, Janet Yellen is the chairperson for the Federal Reserve System. Janet Yellen was quoted recently to say that there will never be a crash in her lifetime. And everyone in the, alternative media has jumped on that and said, well, she's crazy, because there is a crash, because the debts are so high and the unfunded liabilities are so high. But the point that everyone seems to miss is that they are manipulating all of this. Everyone says that they're manipulating. So what is going to make them stop manipulating? Let's go back to what they all talk about. The fake markets. There are no real markets. So what you're seeing as a stock market is false, because it's not people buying these. Well, the market is real. It's the participants have changed. So I'll correct myself. You thought that the stock markets were people like you, regular people or companies that bought stocks or bonds because they were thinking that this is going to increase and that's how they're going to make money. All of that has changed really within the last 10 years as far as the participants in the market. So the market now is ran by computers, algorithmic trading. The market is ran by government buying. So Switzerland, Austria, these countries are Japan. Basically, the U.S. buys there. So it's this shell game that's happening where one country buys the other country's debt, the other country buys the other. So why can't that continue? They've pretty much created a scheme. I won't say a scam, because it's a market. It's just no longer the market that you or I grew up in, or most people think it is. So here you have Greece blowing up, you have these countries blowing up, you have here in America, you have Illinois blowing up, you have Puerto Rico blowing up, meaning these states are insolvent. Some would even say the whole United States is insolvent. Most of these G20 countries are insolvent. If you look at their, but what does that mean anything? People live in these countries. People still pay taxes in these countries. And people still use these countries' currencies as a medium of exchange. With all of that being said, why, and if the powers that be still are in control of the levels and the levels of power, explain to me why there should be a crash, unless the powers that be wish to shake a couple of weak hands out. For example, in 2008, let's look. Was it really a crash? Was 2008 really a crash, or was 2008 a hit? I'm of the belief that 2008 was not a crash. It was a hit. When I say a hit, I mean like a literally mafia style hit job. Lehman Brothers, Bear Stearns were assassinated. Look at what happened. Lehman Brothers, Bear Stearns, everybody's in trouble. All of the banks are in trouble. They all have these toxic assets, over leveraged. They're all in trouble. So why is it that only Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers, Wachovia, a couple of banks are allowed to, they say to these banks, we're not going to rescue you. You got to go file bankruptcy. Go bankrupt. Thursday, these companies have to file bankruptcy. Friday, they bail everybody else out. Why didn't they just bail everybody out from the beginning? They didn't bail these banks out until they got rid of the banks and the institutions that they wish to get rid of. Because this whole thing could have been avoided. This whole so-called crash of 2008 could have been avoided if they just bailed everybody out. But they allowed a few institutions, banks, to fail, and then they rescued the ones that they wanted to rescue. So that is not what I would call a crash. That's what I would call a hit. I see that as a coordinated attack on certain players. Now, can we see another coordinated attack on some other players? Yes, that's possible. It's possible that there are some other players that are not playing the game the way the main players wish for them to play, or there are players that the main players just wish to get rid of. They've served their purpose. It's time for them to go. So these individuals, these institutions, these banks might be, allowed to implode and go bankrupt, and then turn around and everyone else gets saved. Look in Italy. What seemed to be some small banks were just bailed out again. I guess they were important enough in the game, so they were saved. If you're not important enough, you're going to go bankrupt. So that's not a crash, that's a systemized way of eliminating either competition or way of eliminating players that no longer serve purpose. But this is not free market economics anymore. This is central planning. So when everyone is running around talking about this market and talking about the rules and gold and silver and even cryptocurrencies based on any kind, all of that is 1000% manipulated, fake, centrally planned. Hence, they can keep it going if they want to, or they can get rid of who they wish to get rid of whenever they wish to get rid of them. So for everyone that's out there and that is very smart, they're still, the mistake that they're making is that they're still holding on to a belief that somehow this is running based on rules, and they forget this is Fight Club. The first rule of Fight Club is there are no rules to Fight Club, and that they can do whatever they wish to do whenever they wish to do it, because the only way you're going to stop these people from doing what they wish to do is by creating an alternative force, i.e. cryptocurrencies, that can really challenge or create an opposing force to what they're doing. And, a lot of people might say this is a conspiracy theory video, but I don't think it's conspiracy theory when everyone that you've heard from before you came here is telling you all of this information, all about the manipulation, everything about the massaged or manipulated numbers. So all of that has been, that's not something that I'm making up. You can go anywhere in there, Google on YouTube or go anywhere, and all the alternative financial community will tell you the same thing. Unemployment numbers are false. Labor participation numbers are at all-time lows. Debts are 20 trillion plus in debts, maybe 80 to 100 trillion in unfunded liabilities. These things are all there. But the difference between them and me is I learned. I got burnt in 2008 because I thought like they thought. I thought there was rules, and I had these great short positions there, and I was ready to capitalize because certain banks should have been out of business. Bank of America. Oh man, I had that thing going to zero. It didn't because it didn't want it to. Simple. Was there any rules to why Bank of America should? No. They just, because they didn't want it to. Wachovia, you got to go. Washington Mutual, you've got to go. Bank of America, no. You stay. That's it. Trying to figure out why I would have had to have been in the country club to understand the dynamics of who's who in Bank of America versus who's who in Washington Mutual and who's who in Wachovia. Okay, you're not friends with the right people in Wachovia, so you've got to go. Washington Mutual, you've got to go. Lehman Brothers, you've got to go. Bear Stearns, you've got to go. Countrywide, you've got to go. You served your purpose. They could do this forever. Gold and silver does not meet a challenge because they've already controlled that market too. Now, this is the question. Little by little, I'm watching as they are coming in, and that's why when everyone was talking about ETF and, oh, this would be the greatest thing, that would have been the worst thing in the world. You do not want these individuals, the moment these individuals, central planners, come into this system is also going to be monopolized and cannibalized by a set of individuals that you don't want. Trust me, you do not want to be in bed with these people, because you cannot really do anything, because their savagery is at a level that they will do anything to get what they want. So this is just a heads up, folks. Crash will only be if they wish to get rid of whoever they wish to get rid of. Other than that, there will be no crash. Not based on any fundamentals. The fundamentals have been thrown out the window years ago. There's no check. After 1971, the last bastion of any kind of check to the system was eliminated. They can write as much paper as they wish to write. They can write as many derivatives as they wish to write. And that's it. As long as people are still accepting it and still seeing this as money or as giving it value, they can continue doing this for the next 50 years, 100 years. That's my thought. If you disagree, agree, let me know if there's something that I'm missing. That's my humble opinion. And if I missed something, and let me know. All right. Have a great day.